Hello, I'm David Cruz. Welcome to the program. A very important topic is what we're going to talk about for the next half hour. In these uncertain and turbulent times, people are looking for safety, for security, for a refuge. And I want you to meet someone who is here with us in the studio that I want to welcome because he has very important answers for us in an area that we're all concerned about, which is our economic safety. Ken Russo, he is Senior Vice President of Midas Gold Group. Thank you for coming in, Ken.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dave.
So let's begin at the top. You are focused on gold as an area of smart safety, investment, protection. Tell me where that comes from.
Well, gold has been money for 5,000 years. It's held its value. Most people aren't aware of its track record of keeping up with the falling dollar and our lost purchasing power. People only understand rising prices, and they don't understand why. Gold has been a way to preserve that buying power. It's physical metal, and people see it as money.
And I want to say something to my lovely listeners who trust us and tune in. I was concerned that this conversation would revolve around paper, but it isn't. You have presented me here in the studio with an actual gold coin and also a bar, a gold bar that I'm holding. What is the value of this troy ounce?
Gold is a little under $1,600, which is close to a 7-year high per ounce.
And I confess to you that years ago, a financial advisor came to me and said, David, buy gold. At that time, it was $300 an ounce. I would have been a genius to have done it, but of course, hindsight is always 20/20. Ken, what is the reason why gold is so important when we talk about the macro? Let's begin with the large picture, then we're going to drill down to the local situation. What is debt around the world based upon, really?
Well, you have to understand that we came out of a financial crisis, Dave, in 2008, 2009. And how did we get out of that crisis the last 12 years? Debt. We've printed enormous amounts of money by central banks and by the Federal Reserve. There was about $120 trillion worth of debt in 2008, and today there's $260 trillion of world debt. This is debt that will never be paid off. As more money's printed, your paper money that you work hard for, that's in your wallet, that's in your savings account, buys less. You know, if you had $10,000 in your bank account 15 years ago, that $10,000 doesn't buy $10,000 worth of stuff today. It's as simple as that.
And Ken, I appreciate the simplicity and the directness and the transparency with which you are speaking. I go into a store, I see an item that I could buy for, let's say, 2 or 3 months ago. For $9, it's now $10.84. Cat food, okay? And I talk about that because it's something we all buy. Everything is going up except the value of the money that we think is our safety net in the bank. Now, how do I hold gold in my hands? What do I have to do to be able to benefit from your kind of help?
Well, first of all, be educated. You know, understand your options. We encourage clients to come down to our physical location in Thousand Oaks. Bring your bank statement, bring your IRA statement. Let's, see if you need some diversification. I would like to kind of explain gold with the old adage and an old story that kind of the old-timers refer to over and over again. Back in 1930, there was 2 forms of money, a $20 bill and a gold coin, both of them worth $20. At that time, both would buy a man a nice suit. Let's fast forward that to today. Gold is about $1,600 per ounce, and you also have a $20 bill. Obviously, the $16 1-ounce coin can still buy a man a nice suit. The $20 bill could maybe buy you a pack of socks. As you've seen, the dollar has not kept up with the cost of living, but gold has. It's as simple as that.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am holding gold in my hands. This is not a promise. This is something that's a tangible. And in this day of so much talk and people wonder, what can I rely on? You can depend on something that you're holding in the palm of your hand as I am right here. But the key is going to people who are trustworthy, people we can really rely upon. That's why I invited Ken Russo, who is the Senior VP of Midas Gold Group. Again, Ken, I want to thank you because Midas has been around a long time. Tell me about the company's track record.
Well, we're veteran-owned. We've been doing business in Phoenix, Arizona for more than 7 years, and most recently in Thousand Oaks to serve the Southern California area. We encourage clients to come down. We believe that face-to-face conversation for investors and their dealers are very important. We also are able to service any precious metal investor, even if they bought their coins from another dealer, if they opened up their IRA with another dealer, maybe they can't get a hold of them. We take pride in trying to give people the best service from beginning to end when it comes to gold.
And Ken, when we have the conversation about gold, people sometimes are reactive in the way in which they deal with their financial security. You say planning, foresight, looking at your portfolio, that makes all the sense in the world. But how much money do we need to be able to step into something like this with Midas Gold Group?
Well, it depends on a client's whole situation, but, the smallest coins that are available could be worth anywhere from $160 to $170 a piece, but we have some clients that have much more than that to protect, so it's an individual thing. It's a personal thing. Everybody has a different situation. Everybody was a beginner at one time.
Here's the number for Midas Gold Group. I want you to please take it down. I'm going to repeat it several times in the program. It's 805-601-6000. 805-601-6000. And let me say, this is not something that's going to be handled from afar, from overseas, from some distant state. This is right here in our community. Their office is in Thousand Oaks, on East Thousand Oaks Boulevard. And, of course, you'll get all that information when you go to Midas Gold Group. Ken Russo is with us. He is Senior VP of Midas Gold Group. We invited him to come in because there are so many questions right now about liquidity, about stability, about financial refuge, a place that is safe. You speak of an implosion that could be on the horizon. Explain to me how that would occur.
Well, we've seen currencies in the past fall a lot in value, devalued, sometimes lose 25%, 50% overnight. Russia, the Weimar Republic years ago experienced great hyperinflation. As they print more money, the money we have is worth less. It's as simple as that. As there's more supply, obviously the value of something goes down.
So let me understand the way that works. When money is printed, we assume it's being backed by something. Otherwise, it's just paper. Now, of course, we talk about the good faith of the U.S. government, the federal government, but now that we're all being affected worldwide, you're saying it's not just what happens here, but it's what's happening on the other side of the planet as well.
All currencies aren't backed by anything except debt. And this is debt that will never be paid back.
A promise to pay, so to speak.
Absolutely. A promise to pay that they can't pay.
Well, I will confess, Ken, when I was preparing to do this interview, I've done a lot of research. I'm not the expert you are in the area of gold. I'll come to you. I was concerned we were going to be holding paper, certificates, and promises like that. And yet you came in here, you presented me with a troy ounce of fine gold, and then you showed me here this beautiful gold coin, and you said to me, this is tangible. I can hold this. Where would we put this kind of asset, this treasure? Where do people keep it?
Well, first of all, people who do gold want to get some of their money out of the banking system, and they want to get some of their money out of the financial markets. Where do they put their gold? Anywhere safe. Some clients put it in their personal safe. Some people put it in the basement. Some people put it in the attic. Some people hold it at a private depository. But we are knowledgeable about different vaults, about different IRA companies. You can put gold in your IRA. They store it at the Delaware Depository or Brinks. We could help a client out. It's an individual situation. It's an individual place where each client could possibly put their gold or store their gold, but it has to be somewhere safe and secure.
Please know, ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Cruz. I've been a journalist for my entire professional life, and when I get an opportunity to interview someone like Ken, who's an expert in this area, it really is a joy because I can share with you that gold has that consistency that he talked about. This is the currency of the ages. 5,000 years, this gold would be worth valuable it's an asset for me no matter where I'm in the world. I mean, I could be here, I could be in Asia, I could be in Africa, I could be anywhere. But we're right here in the central coast of California. And so that brings me to my next question. To set up an appointment, you say just bring your paperwork and then talk about what your strategy is going to be. What are some of the key points that we ought to think about before we walk into that meeting with you?
Well, first of all, we do business in all 50 states, and we do encourage local customers to come on in and talk. It's important. But the most important things to think about right now is how old an investor is, how leveraged are they, how much are they exposed to the stock market, which is obviously going through its own situation right now. It's down about 20% in the last month with the coronavirus situation going on in the economy. But like I said, it's an individual situation. Not everybody could wait 20 or 30 years for the next stock market crash to go through its peak and valley, and they can't wait 20 years for the money to come back.
One of the things that I see about you that our listeners can't appreciate because we don't have cameras on you, you're very calm about this. You've seen these kinds of ups and downs before, but because you are an expert in gold, you know that this is a constant, is it not?
Well, that's the track record, and I've been in the markets for close to 30 years. There's a lot of traders that work at Midas that have been in the markets for a long time, stocks, oil and gas, gold. You can't do things based on emotion. Numbers don't lie, and gold is based on numbers.
So when we make a decision on impulse, that's the wrong way to process our dollars and cents decisions. You're saying it ought to be proactive. We ought to sit down with people who know, ask the questions, get a plan together, implement it. Midas Gold Group is here to help us out. Here's the number. It's 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. And you say that conversation is very important because you're going to learn the time horizon that each of us has. So contrast for me, let's say, a young working family that's thinking long-term versus someone who may be more my contemporary and says, look, I'm near retirement. I want to make sure that I've got liquidity, but at the same time, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm worried. What do you do? How do you contrast that?
Well, based on the situation today with debt, I believe that clients should be about 25% invested in gold. So depending on their income, depending on their overall portfolio, we're not advisors. We're not financial advisors. We're just gold specialists. But we feel that every portfolio for diversification needs, protection needs, store of value needs, safety needs, at least a portion of their nest egg, their legacy, should be in physical gold. So we kind of start with that thought.
I really appreciate your clarifying that, Ken Russo. He is Senior VP of Midas Gold Group. So you may already have a financial advisor, and if he or she says, look, you need to diversify, I want you to know that you have right here in the Central Coast a friend who can help you, and that's going to be Ken and his team. Midas Gold Group, 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. So I want to come back to this point that you talked about earlier, and that is, in the situation that we're dealing with right now, the coronavirus and all that concern about that, how do those emotions bleed over into the financial markets? What have you seen?
Well, uncertainty and fear always means selling. And whenever you have more selling than buying, price goes down. And that's what we've seen in the last month or two with stocks. So when people are looking for safety and when people are looking for liquidity, they sell.
So they sell stocks.
Well, they say they sell everything. And then basically what happens is that usually some things are happening with financial liquidity. We saw the Federal Reserve step in yesterday and say they were going to put $1.5 trillion more of printed money into the economy. There's an example of what we were talking about out of thin air, $1.5 trillion. And it really didn't stop the selling yesterday. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, but it goes back to the same adage. You need to be diversified. You need to be spread out. You need to have an asset that is kept up with the cost of living and a store of value, and that's gold. Simple as that.
And if you're just joining our conversation, let me tell you, we're not talking here about something like paper. This is a tangible, I'm holding it right here, a beautiful buffalo coin. How do you refer to this?
That's a 1-ounce American Gold Buffalo from the U.S. Mint.
So it has a Native American on one side, a buffalo on the other. Then you also brought in a troy ounce of fine gold. And these are the examples, ladies and gentlemen, of what you're going to see when you visit with Ken Russo, who is over at Midas Gold Group. He is Senior Vice President, a man who's had a lifetime of experience in this area. And I want to ask you about that. What initially brought you into gold and being a trader in this particular type of an asset? Why did you get into this market?
Well, I started on Wall Street in the mid-'90s. Stocks are an aggressive investment, very volatile, not for everyone. I saw the long-term capital situation. I saw the dot-com bubble in 2000. I saw oil go to $150 a barrel back in the 2005, 2006 time frame. I've seen a lot of booms and busts. And I've seen a lot of people make a lot of money, and I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of money. But one constant is that wealthy individuals, politicians, aristocrats always put a portion of their money into physical gold, tangible assets.
And that's the key word, Ken. People want to hold something that they can trust. And you say we can trust gold because it has been a constant throughout the ages, and this is something that you can rely on. I want to repeat the number again because when we decided to do this program, we wanted to be sure that we were dealing with people who are reputable, experienced, knowledgeable. You have all of that at Midas Gold Group. Take it from me, David Cruz, 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000, or you can go to MidasGoldGroup.com, MidasGoldGroup.com. Tell me, are you guys regulated, or what agencies look into your industry? Because people are going to say, look, I like this, I want to do it. How can I make sure that this is the right team to deal with? Tell me a little bit, and it's okay to brag, but tell me a little bit about your stability, your track record as a team.
Well, that's important because there's a lot of gold companies out there, just like there are a lot of stock companies or a lot of mutual fund companies or a lot of banks. We have to have our own ethics. We have to believe that we're providing a great service at a reasonable price. We have to provide service that's fast. Clients demand that, and that's the way that we earn new clients. We appreciate the competition. We want people from other dealers, other customers from other dealers to contact us so they can see the difference. We've been told this is the best service I've ever had when it comes to precious metals. So we're not governed by an authority like NASD or SIPC or FIDC, but we have our own rules and regulations that we feel are necessary. And like I said, our owners are veterans, former veterans. They have a certain way of doing business. We try to treat people fairly. And
so these relationships that are built up over years, they're based upon one thing, the same thing you have in us, which is why you tune in each and every day. The word is trust. And we trust that Midas Gold Group is going to be the right place for you to go get your questions answered. Do the right thing today. Diversify. Again, they're not financial advisors, but if you have looked at your portfolio and you're simply saying, okay, I'm going to put everything over here in this one basket, that can be a risk. The number is 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. You talked about the efficiency with which you can respond. Can you explain to me what that means in terms of, I go in today, I sit with you, I get together, I say, okay, I want to do something. How quickly can you help me?
Well, if a client came in today and they wanted to transfer some money sideways into gold, they bring in a check, they do a bank wire, and 2 or 3 days later they have their physical gold if we don't have it on inventory, depending on how large the order is. And I wanted to touch on something. You said trust. It is about trust. And most of the people who believe in gold don't trust the bank with all of their money. They don't trust the market with all of their money. They don't trust the bond market with all of their money. And with a situation like we've seen in the last month, what if the ATM machine didn't work? What if there was a lock on the door at the bank and we couldn't get in? What if the electrical grid was crashed and the stock exchanges and the bond exchanges are crashed? How accessible is your money? And that's one of the things that people are concerned with.
You know, I've been worried about that for a long time. My wife sometimes chuckles at me, Ken, and says, "Oh, you're just ridiculous. You're just worried about nothing." But, you know, more and more as we become a cashless society, plastic is our link. But it's a link to an infrastructure. And as you just pointed out, if that machine isn't working, I mean, look what happens when we have a blackout and store cash registers don't work. Everyone has to leave. They close immediately. So you're saying with gold, what could I do if I'm holding something like this beautiful gold coin in my hand? What could I do?
Well, it gives you options. And it's better to have options versus no options. If you're stuck, you have no options. If you have the gold, you can sell it to somebody. We buy and sell gold every single day. Who knows what a merchant would accept for payment if money's that hard to get to come by? You know, whatever someone does a good service for you, what will they receive in return for payment? You know, it could possibly be gold, but I'm not that smart to know those answers. The answer is have options, and gold gives options.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to panic anybody, doom and gloom. That's not what we're about. We're here about education. Community Connection is a program that's designed and developed and intended to be an educational opportunity for us to have this kind of conversation with experts like Ken Russo. He is Senior VP of Midas Gold Group. They've been around for a long time. It's a company owned by American veterans, and their key word is service and trust to you, the client. Here's their number, 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. They're over here in Thousand Oaks, and one of the things that impressed me about your conversation with me today is that you want people to come in and sit down with you, get to know you, develop that sense of trust with you, and you're there to be a counselor, someone who can guide them in terms of, okay, you've got this much in your statement, let's set aside and begin here. Is that the way you work?
We want to be relied upon. You know, we want to be trusted. And when it comes to gold, or when it comes to simple, honest guidance or advice or suggestions, we encourage people to come down, give us a call, set up an appointment. It's important. We're at a very important time right now in the economy. Very important time right now in the markets. It's your nest egg. It's your legacy. At least dedicate a little time to it and protect it.
Okay, so here's the number again. If you've not jotted it down and you're going to think about it, you're going to talk to your spouse, or maybe you're making the decision. There is no harm in going by and meeting with Ken Russo. He's Senior VP at Midas Gold Group. They're right here at Thousand Oaks, in Thousand Oaks, California. You can give them a call also at 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. It's not some 800 number from afar. They're right here in our community. They are our neighbors, and you're dealing with people who are as experienced as Ken is. And please, I want you to pick up the phone. Think about this. Do it today because, as he pointed out, these are some uncertain times. The ups and downs get people nervous. But any time that you can diversify your portfolio is a smart thing to do. 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. Give me a word of encouragement. We've got a couple of minutes, and just so that our friends don't go away panicked or scared, you've seen this happen before, but as we look forward into the future, is this a learning opportunity for all of us?
Absolutely. Everything is an opportunity. And if you are an investor and you were fortunate enough the last 10, 12 years to benefit from the move in stocks and the move in real estate, it's a great opportunity you have. The question you have to ask yourself now, what about the next 10 or 20 years? Where are we headed? And what could I do to make sure that my situation is as strong as possible?
And there you go. He is a senior trader. We've been speaking with Ken Russo. He is Senior VP at Midas Gold Group. And please pay attention to what he just mentioned, that this is a smart move anytime. If you've had real estate, you've built up a nice portfolio, this is an opportunity for you to go the next step and diversify. And Ken, I really want to thank you for you and Midas Gold Group being there to service our community. Our listeners trust you because they trust us, and we certainly would recommend it. 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. Go to MidasGoldGroup.com, MidasGoldGroup.com. I encourage you to do do that today. Look, don't let the current situation define your actions in a reactionary type of way. Think about it as being proactive. This is a learning moment, and from here on out, maybe the new normal is going to be, Ken, we plan ahead, and that's what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Plan ahead, be proactive. It's a smart thing to do at this time, and it's had a great track record of being very successful.
The people you can trust, Midas Gold Group, 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000, 805-601-6000. I'm David Cruz. We'll speak again soon.